Hey, I like that mic.
Hey, thanks.
It sounds really good.
I have a mouse now for my computer because
Oh,
my
do you?
laptop blew up, and I keep reaching for the keyboard to use the mouse, thinking I bought one of like the desktops, like my one at the shop, instead of another laptop,
Oh, no kidding?
and I'm confused. I don't know how to operate it at my house. My muscle memory is all tweaked and not working.
What's up, everybody?
Are we live yet?
We are.
Oh, I'm over here babbling on like we're not on the internet.
Oh, it's all good. We're just talking about computers. Typical. Hello, hello. What up, Brian? How are you liking that double pod, bud? Freaking awesome. This is gonna be 6-7 diagnosis night. You got problems, bring them. My emails are overflowing with plethora of problems. But I'm sure you guys have some problems, which we can talk about tonight and help you try to figure out what kind of path you're going to be going on in that repair process. Fire, that's right. Yeah. Brian over here in the comments, he just installed the Banks pedal monster slash iDash slash data monster, and it is such a good combo for just a monitoring device for looking at data is really what it is. And being able to control your pedal monster on the fly. Not only can you control it with your app on the phone, but having that little gauge right there. You know what I'm talking about? Be right there. Let me dial it up to Sport 8. Yeah. Thinking like a little biatch when we had that in the truck. It was so funny. I remember when Ray put his first one, it was like, dude, what do you want? This is nice.
It's the best.
Yeah.
I got one now.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
That's sick.
I just got the confirmation email.
What up,
Yes.
Kyle? Happy Valentine's Day. Sport one for me. Okay, okay. Okay, okay. All right, here we go. I poured about 4 ounces of Mercon LV from a mislabeled bottle into my 2019 Power Stroke. Do I need to change the oil again immediately or can it wait? Oh, you mean, oh, I see, into the oil. Nah, you'll be all right.
Yeah, it's fine.
You'll be all right. No problem, Kyle. Yep, I'll be up there. Love a new S&B, man. That's awesome. What have you filled it up all the way yet? You got to text me or tell me in the chat what's your max distance E that you've seen yet. Brand new Super Duty. First time for a S&B tank, which I might say was very similar. However, they have added a new fuel line that comes off of the main line on top of the tank and goes over to the exhaust fuel line to the exhaust. What? Yes, it is dumping raw fuel now into the exhaust. So we did have to do a little workaround and get that little line off a connector that I have not disconnected yet. So it was very tiny. Not yet. I will be this weekend after traveling back. Okay, 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 okay.
Wait, that's on the new ones? There's a diesel injector.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's not dumping fuel in the exhaust stroke anymore.
No more post injection. They have it
Ah,
now in the exhaust, a DEF injector, and then a fuel injector.
is the fuel injector before the def injector?
It
Ye-
is, yes, before. No, it's after the DEF
After.
injector.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. That was cool. I love the SMBs. I've put in the transfer flows. I've put in the Titans, and SMBs have SMB tanks rock, and I'd be kind of curious to put in the cab mounts. A lot of people say the cab mounts are off the chain if you have ones that are blew out. And speaking of cab mounts, it was a very good. If you guys are following Daddy Diesel on TikTok, I think his name is Price. He's in maybe Missouri, I think. I can't remember. But he had a very good point. And sometimes if you guys have been taking the intakes off these trucks, whether it's the plastic ones, well, I guess not so much the aluminum ones because that's 20 plus, but yes, all the plastic ones from 11 to 19. Sometimes the intakes can be super hard to get off. Like some trucks will come right off. The other ones you got to fight. You take the fuel cup off, the cac tube off, and you're like, what the heck? Come on, God. Check the cab mounts. If the cab mounts are blew out, the body is sitting closer to the engine, and you'll have to fight to take the intake off. How many of us overlooked that something so simple and like, man, don't even realize, think it's just a truck, what the heck, not got, right angle on the dangle or whatever. Check them cab mounts. Guilty as charged. I have not looked at that and have fought with intakes myself. So speaking of cab mounts, if you're going to change them out, let me know what the S&B ones, if it hopefully you'd notice a change. I would
We'll be
hope.
installing those soon.
I hope.
That's struck.
I hope. Cold air intake for 17, S&B banks, pros, cons. I would definitely do the banks. It is considerably bigger when compared to the S&B. And I did get the, what do you call it? The little pre-filter, the little sock that goes over it. 2011 Ford 250 goes into limp mode when it rains and says low voltage to pedal. I replaced the pedal and nothing changed, so no horn, dome light, and back doors always say open. Well, for something like that, we would definitely need to see what codes are in the BCM for this horn dome light stuff. It could be a BCM. We've had a lot of problems with them garbage BCMs.
They get wet when it rains.
I don't know if
Are
that
they
has
in
anything
down
to do with the
here?
pedal.
Are they in the fender? Well,
They're in the passenger side kickboard.
what's under on those trucks? What's under the fender liner? Some kind of
Glow plug
module.
module.
Yeah.
My one buddy took his fender liner out for like the entire summer, and it was just spraying water, grass, everything up in there. I'm like, man, you can't just take that thing out and drive around like that.
Gordon, did your water leak? Did it drench your carpet? Oh, here you go, Cody. Here's a good one. Carol Pruitt, 21 250, 6.7 revs up during idle. Is that normal?
Normal.
Yes, especially if you do not touch the brake or the accelerator, it is going to elevate that idle to keep those
Yep.
unburned hydrocarbons out of that DPF.
SCR. not
SCR.
DPF.
And yeah, bring all the emission stuff up to temp.
It's not
20.
it's not regenning, it's just burning out the hydrocarbons.
Yes, pedal monster best bang for your buck. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh, no, that's a code. That's a question for Cody. Hello, Cody. What do we have here?
18 F153 liter.
Okay, what do we got?
Sunspot in November, DPF plus NAC sensor replace. It keeps setting a 22 EE. You sure it's not?
22.
I've never seen that one. Is it a 22 or 20 EE?
I don't think it's even a 22 EE code.
I don't know. We can go look. I got
I've never,
PTS open.
Hey,
I've never
what's
seen
up,
a 22
Pepe?
EE.
Appreciate you. 2017 250 currently have the Icon 2.0 shocks. Will the 2.5 shocks make a big difference?
Well, I know one way to get rid of that DTC.
I'm not too sure. The difference I think is going to be with the length of travel.
It will never come back.
So, I don't know. Thankfully, didn't get the carpet wet. Okay.
Control.
Oh, my pointer's over here. Crocked flyer.
Yeah, it's gotta be 20 EE.
Hey, where could I get the as-built file for a 2009 F550 6.4 TCM? It goes into gear and lugs down, but doesn't go anywhere and burns up the trans. So we fixed the trans, but it still don't drive. As-built file?
VIN number, please.
Yeah,
That's
you got the VIN for that 550? Por favor? Cody is the 30 King, yes. Monster rocks, yes.
well, 20 EE is caused by driving habits, knock sensors, SCR, DEF, and the injector. That's it. The DEF injector. So how do you
When do
drive it?
driving habits cause the 20 EE?
Because if you're sitting there driving slow, you're not burning off hydrocarbons and you're loading up the SCR
You don't let it
with
warm up.
DEF.
Short trips,
So-
right, Cody?
Short trips, idle, stuff like that.
Blake, I would be wondering if your truck was at the latest software calibration. I would be doing a PCM, a TCM reprogram. I just did one today. And a CAM, keep alive memory reset, and clearing the adaptive learn values in the trans as well. And then go take it for a drive, put a good 20 miles on it.
Oh, Aaron, I forgot to tell you. Remember a while back when that Ford technician was talking to you and you said check to see if the VIN number matches in the PCM because it kept throwing the same code? Guess what it was?
What?
It was the software update in the PCM for that certain year model truck. Did not like that. Went back to as-built data. Code never came back.
What?
Mm-hmm. He told me to update you, and I completely forgot.
Word. Hey Rod, how do you test Ford 6.7 Power Stroke knock sensor other than power grounds and communication? Taking it for a
Pinpoint
drive
test
and
RD.
yeah, watching the values for that pinpoint test and see if they all jive.
3-liter water pump, what?
Here's the VIN. What up, Robert? Busy V, right? Mhm. Yes. SMS CP4, you mean DCR? Yes,
Yeah, a lot of them.
maybe. I'm going to put one on a 24 actually next.
They only have PCM as built data for that.
Have a higher or lower NOx level to test accuracy. Well, you would I'm actually dealing with a 207F right now. We're paying very close attention to the NOx parts per million. It's a good way to see if the catalyst is working correctly and also if the sensors are reading correctly. And like Cody was explained with this code with driving habits, sometimes when these codes set, we have to create a baseline. And when we look at the NOx catalyst conversion efficiency, the NCCE PID, it's supposed to be between this truck today was supposed to be between 45% and 100%, and it was at 50. It was still within the range, but it was low. So I cleared the code, exited idle only mode, and he immediately took it out and drove it on the freeway, refreshed the NCCE, and it went up to 68%. And the
Now, if
whole
it
time I
keeps-
was
Now, if it keeps going up and doesn't go back down, it's driving habits.
the whole time I was driving, I mean, the readings were looking nice and tight. Front NOx was staying at like 130, 140s, just cruise, steady cruise, steady acceleration. where the rear was at like 28, 18. It was pretty tight, and I just didn't understand why I kept setting this 207F. So I'm actually dealing with this right now. I think we're having a lazy reading rear knock sensor. We've already replaced the front one for a different heater sense code. And the truck's got 133,000 on it. Is it time for a rear knock sensor? It could be. 207Fs are a pain in the butt, but
207F, 20EE,
no.
P, and 24EF or FE, one of the two.
Mhm.
All the same code.
They're a bugger. They a bugger. Um, yeah, 19250 20E code.
I wish Ford would release that video to the world so everyone could watch it.
I have 1167 power stroke with air dog lift pump, and an SNS is asking every time I change the fuel filters, I have a really hard time getting it primed again. I don't know why you'd have that happen. That's kind of strange.
Get
Did
rid
you
of
see
that
that
air
one?
dog.
How
I-
often do you see a 6.7 pushing coolant out of the primary coolant throttle or coolant bottle? And
Not
why?
never, not never,
Never.
not never. Oh, he forgot the O. He forgot the O after the 7, the 6 O. Oh, yeah, man, all day. All day.
What would cause a 6.7 to sputter on startup only? Complete reman motor put in 1023. Dealer can't find the problem.
Sputter on startup. Well, if it's sputtering or runner up, I'd be thinking it'd be setting some code.
Either fuel pressure or
Mhm.
compression. I mean, it only takes two things to run. I don't get these dealers and them saying they can't find anything right now. It's absolutely redonkulous.
We've been going through this for the past 2 days, haven't we?
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Crocked Flyer. Why are you guys going to the TCM? Is it because the printle doesn't light up? You like the PRNDL, does it not light up orange? Had a few of those kind of get messed up. Had a ground issue where the TCM wasn't being powered. There was a couple of grounds to the TCM, and one of those grounds was not feeding something on the inside. And then the other one, I was able to make a video on, and the thing was so corroded. It's an aluminum housed module with a plastic, backing, bolted to a steel piece of metal that hangs off the frame. Not too smart. The only other reason for coolant to come out of the bottle is you have excessive pressure in the cooling system. So you need to put a pressure gauge on the coolant bottle, and you need to go drive the truck when this is happening and see what the pressure is you're getting in the cooling system. So you're gonna have to tee into that degas bottle line that's right off the front and go drive it while you got this gauge hanging out of the hood, through the crack.
Could compression be getting into the coolant?
Exactly. He's done something. I think there's more to the stories that we're not getting. I doubt this is grandpa's 250 that's got 50,000 miles on it. So let's go, Maine
Yes,
Dad.
yeah.
I got somebody from Maine coming out on Tuesday. Tuesday. No codes. We've checked all the powers and grounds we could find.
But what's checked mean? Does that mean it's been load tested, ohm tested?
That would be really good. A lot of people don't know what load testing is. It's so crucial.
And if you did load test it, what did you use? A test light? Because that's not
Mhm.
enough.
a test light with an incandescent bulb.
That's still not
I-
enough. You need at
I use-
least 3157.
I was gonna say I
At
use a
least.
3157 socket. with a
At
bulb
least
in it.
that.
True.
So you can have two filaments.
Yeah, truck is compounded. Exactly. Well, now I wonder why it's blowing coolant out the degas bottle. Yeah, I don't know if it's got studs on it or not, but that's probably going to be a problem. That head's lifting off the deck enough for that pressure in the cooling in the combustion chamber to go into the water jacket right on the other side. So 5W40, 10W30, full cine all day.
540, your choice,
Mm-hmm.
as long as you change it.
Yeah, headlights were good for load testing. Yeah.
Sometimes it can be too much though.
We got some power probe stuff coming. I put together a kit with the power probe team that are kind of like my go-to power probe pieces. So I'm going to be talking about that here coming up on the channel to show you guys what it does, how you load test a circuit, what these little things do that help us find electrical problems. Because believe me, there's no computer that you hook up that just tells you what's wrong. Just because you
seen
go to
guys-
AutoZone and it says you need a mass airflow sensor doesn't mean you need a mass airflow sensor. There's probably something else.
I love it when new guys use power probes and they've never used them before, and they hit the wrong button. They send power where it's not supposed to be.
No.
Then what?
They fry circuits and modules.
Yeah, you
Oh my
start frying
goodness.
stuff.
I mean, it'd be cool for like trailer testing, like you want to test like trailer brakes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But dang it, what if you put that thing on like a mass airflow sensor or a knock sensor? I don't know why you would do that, but it probably wouldn't be good.
And you stay away from that kind of stuff, especially if you don't know what you're doing.
Ford yellow. Ford yellow.
If you can't find Ford yellow, go get Zert yellow. It's the same crap. It looks
like
identical.
Oh, yeah, doing studs and ringed head now, just second guessing. Well, I think you're gonna take care of your problem with studs and ringed heads for sure.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of work. I mean, you probably would want to know exactly what's going on before, I mean, even though you're probably dead, right? I mean, what
Oh,
other tests can you do?
Super Mario Diagnostics, he's awesome.
Like a coolant pressure test would tell you, because you're not going to hold coolant pressure if you have that issue with the head.
I'd like to see a person 6'7" with compounds. That'd be pretty lit.
Yeah,
I'm trying-
DS, if the heads are lifting, pumping combustion gases into the cooling system, a pressure tester is never going to find that.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't even be leaking if it's
It
cold.
won't.
Like you,
Combustion gas leak detector will. The blue liquid.
Yeah, but combustion pressures, bro, like compression test is 400 PSI, let's just
okay.
say.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I
Combustion
got you.
pressures are, it could be a little like you think compression is going to be 400 when you're running the engine and it's at, running, do you think
You were talking
It's-
combustion pressure, which is probably freaking who
probably
knows how
more
much
than
PSI.
400, right?
Probably,
Combustion pressure is like 2,000 PSI or something
Is it?
I
crazy.
mean, we're shooting
It's up
fuel in
there.
it.
Is
Yeah.
it?
We're shooting fuel in at 29,000 PSI to overcome combustion pressure.
so a coolant pressure test might not find that.
Oh,
That's a 20 psi.
Yeah.
A
But-
cooling system pressure test is never going to find that if it's lifting the head. Yeah, nah.
I
But-
mean, is it pretty obvious if you're that it's exhaust gases in the coolant? Like,
yeah,
it's
the blue
bubbling
liquid will
out.
tell you. It'll turn yellow or green or some shit like that.
I mean, wouldn't it be? I mean, wouldn't it be clear that it's exhaust? Like, it'd be. You mean you'd be able to smell it and everything? You know it's exhaust coming out of there.
You may not technically be able to smell it.
No, it's been filtered by all the coolant that it passed through.
That's where that blue liquid comes in.
That seems like a pretty reasonable thing to do. Is just put that liquid in there and have it.
But you don't put it in there, you put it in a little tube and stick it on top of the coolant bottle. And the gases travel through it and it turns that blue liquid yellow.
Mm-hmm.
But might not be leaking at idle.
True.
So you'd have to put it under load and then catch it when it does leak in order for the blue liquid to turn blue
Mhm.
or yellow liquid to
Bleh.
turn blue or whatever it turns.
I think diesel turns yellow, gasoline turns green, doesn't it?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. No, gas turns yellow. Gasoline turns yellow.
Yeah,
there's no
it's
other thing that
there's
could
two
cause-
chambers in the bottle though, in the tube. Remember, I think one chamber is for gasoline vehicles, both chambers is for diesel or something. I don't
On a
remember.
on a 6 liter, there's nothing else that can cause the coolant to bubble like that.
Well, at the end of the day, if you got compound turbos and no head studs, then you need to go back and do the head studs anyway.
Yeah,
So while the head's off, just take a look at them and see if it's leaking coolant or not. But you shouldn't be running compound turbos with stock head bolts. I wouldn't do that.
Hell no.
I wouldn't do that.
how much power are you looking at if you run on these compound turbos on a 6 liter?
6-7.
Oh, so this is a 6.7.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, they need some head bolts.
Hey, DS, Jerome's got a question. Is your high output still eating oil? Checked mine the other day. I was a quart low, but might have been from dealer not putting enough in.
It could be from the dealer not putting enough in, but the dealer, if you just if it hasn't been maintained at the dealer, or was it a brand? Is it the first oil change?
Mhm.
Because if it's the first oil change, then the dealer didn't even put that oil from the factory. And if it's already had its oil change at the dealer, even if you put in the correct amount of oil, which is what, 16 quarts, I believe, on these new ones.
15.
Is it 15?
Yep.
You can put 15 in this engine and it's still going to read low. I put 16 quarts in mine.
I was gonna say it depends on how long you let that boy drain.
Yeah. I mean, when I changed mine, I did 16 quarts and it was like, it depends. They want you in the operating range. So if you put in the 15 quarts and you're in the operating range, you're good. So you might think I'm a quart low, but if you're at 15 quarts, you might be at 15 quarts, you're probably just under halfway up the stick in the operating range. So that's okay. That's just how they set it up. Or, I mean, do you need to fill it to the very highest level in the operating range? Not necessarily. You could be right in the middle and be okay. But 15 quarts is probably not going to be at the very top of the stick at the full mark. But my truck, to answer the question, my truck is still using oil, especially if I'm working it.
Yay. Yay.
My question though is, with the oil consumption on these engines, I wonder if it could be related to just using that engine brake constantly. Because I always turn mine on, I'm always towing. It's doing its thing, and like I know when I went and plowed snow for a lot of hours, I put a lot of oil in that truck. It was low. It was really low.
Cause you're
And
using it in a heavy duty fashion.
that's purely it.
Yep.
Is there any way that using that engine brake puts any more vacuum on that intake or no?
It's gonna put pressure on it more than anything.
It puts more pressure on it. I'm just turning that engine brake off for a little while and see if it make a difference. But
It
no, I mean
shouldn't.
it shouldn't.
If anything, it's gonna put
I don't see how engine braking would cause, it's not, it's the same type of load on the oil components, so I don't see why it would, that would encourage it to consume more oil.
I mean, it's not like a gasoline engine. Like in a gasoline engine, the little bit of engine braking that they do is all powered by the throttle plate. Like that closes up and it can provide a little bit of engine braking, but that puts pressure on the intake. But the diesels don't work like that.
So
I mean,
this
they have a
says,
throttle, but it's electronic. It's an electronic throttle, but I'm not sure what that thing is doing.
so this says you will expect to use more oil, extended idling, or curbside engine operation, stop and go traffic or taxi operation, towing a trailer or vehicle heavily loaded, frequent short stops, engine not up to temperature, and excessive throttle or high RPM driving
So that's like me all day.
You do
all
all those
day.
things.
Yeah, all those things.
So you're not using excessive oil, you're using as much oil as you need to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really care as long as I keep topping it off.
I remember
You know.
reading somewhere performance cars and trucks that are being worked, it's like a quart every 500 miles would be normal.
Well,
One
remember when
night
we
I
did your 20? Remember how we found that low when we were doing the first oil change? We had to add like, will we add like a quart and a half when we first
yeah,
checked it?
that was child's play. Now I put one night I
Yeah.
put a gallon in here. I was like, well, the truck,
Oh,
in all
shoot.
defense though, the truck ran like a 24-hour shift that day.
And you put a
And
gallon of oil in it,
I
bro.
was like, dude, it didn't turn off. And I said, turn it off. We'll check everything, check the oil, and then we'll start it back up. So it's a gallon low, but it was doing a 24-hour shift of just plowing, salting.
Back and forth, just saying FML, FML, FML.
I mean, I would sleep in the truck while it was plowing. Like I would take a nap because you can only stay awake so long, and it was like a roller coaster. My one guy would be plowing the snow, and I'd be like, "How am I gonna sleep in this? I guess I gotta try." But I do wonder, all that oil consumption, is that all through the rings or is some of that through the CCV? And if you did like a CCV reroute, could that have an effect?
You could try it.
I don't know if because diesels don't really make vacuum, so it could be. Do these engines make vacuum? They have vacuum pumps on them, so probably don't have that big of an effect.
It's only making vacuum when it's EGRing and it closes the throttle plate. And even then,
Right.
it might not be making vacuum.
Excuse me.
Because it does have that electronic throttle plate on it.
The throttle plate's only
Excuse
to
me.
create a pressure differential. It's not going to create vacuum.
Oh, okay.
It's still slightly above atmosphere because of the turbocharger.
Oh, okay.
Diesels make zero vacuum. That's why we have a vacuum pump.
So that probably is not going to have much of an effect on oil consumption.
Nope.
I just look at it as you put in fresh oil in the motor, so you're working hard and you always add in more TBN or whatever's in the oil.
Thank you, King Ranch, Mr. Main. Ah, Skidoo. I was thinking about you earlier.
What do you guys recommend? 530 or 1030 or 540
Either or are good.
to all the viewers?
Depends on how they run it.
I gotta blow my schnoz. No, I didn't. My man here, Happy Horsepower. He's got a 2020 that's got a draw on it. He puts in the plant and he comes out and that boy is dead. Or it'll have electrical power, but it won't start. But as soon as he puts a little chintzy battery jumper pack on it, it fires right up. And he's like, WTF. It's driving him crazy.
Can you say that one more time as you got a little bit far away from the microphone in the beginning of that?
Dang it, that's right. He's got a 2020 that he comes out and it will be dead, not dead, like completely dead of electrical power. It'll have electrical power, but he'll put this little chintzy battery jump pack on it and it fires right up like it had no problem.
Could he possibly individually check the batteries?
He put new batteries in.
New batteries are in there.
He put a new battery junction box in. Something's
like it's
doing
time to
something.
sounds like it's time to do a battery draw test.
I would say so.
Damn, this is a nice time to have the VCMM.
What up, Tommy?
You can do a 3-day draw test on that thing.
Wow.
And all you have to use is amp clamps.
Takes 12 to 13 hours to lose enough power. What add-ons?
Yeah, that's always.
How close are your keys to the truck?
In the plant, far away.
Well, I wonder what
Facts.
led him to putting a new battery junction box in there.
Because we thought that water was getting in it because the lid wasn't on there or wasn't sitting down around there correctly.
Hmm.
Bottles should be illegal, I know.
I will never buy that fluid in bottles again now that it comes in bags. Nope.
I had to watch it when I put it in the BG machine, so it starts sucking the bag closed.
I love those bags, man. When they first converted over to those bags, I was like, no way. You can, like, squeeze it.
I cannot believe it.
Makes my job easier.
Oh,
Y'all get any Valentines? I didn't. Poo. Okay, hold on. I think we should have had a comma. Y'all get any Valentines? Comma. I didn't. Comma. Poo. Y'all
Punctuation is
get
key.
any Valentines? I didn't. Poo.
It does
You didn't.
appear that you did not poo.
You didn't poo because you didn't get a Valentine's?
You even have a face emoji that could suggest that you haven't pooed.
That, or you're stopped up because you had a lot of
He's like,
cheese on Valentine's
I
Day.
didn't poo.
That's freaking awesome. We're just playing with you. Oh, forgot about the gas. Let's do a
Because he said
diesel
poo.
price. Diesel poo price check-in. Is it under $4 where you're at, or is it absurdly expensive for a litra of fuel? fuel additive all the time. Arch oil, rocket, it's good. Sorry, wrong grammar. I could also poo.
I have no idea because I haven't drove a diesel in 2 months.
That is technically true.
I've been fixing diesels.
That is also true. Must be election year. Yeah. Mhm. Finally below $5. Oh my God.
How about that Super Bowl? What a great win.
Good luck, Jim Val. 333, 389.
409 here.
Paid 368. What up, Max Paul? Appreciate you. $1.39. 1.39 loonies for a litra in Saskatchewan. Dang. Dang. I had a fellow from Canada come over. It was pretty cool. To have one of you guys from the Great White North. He brought me a Canadian hat. I don't know if you guys from over the border. I don't know if you guys recognize this. He was rocking and going. He was cool. He brought me a present. Video coming out. We were able to film on his truck, so it was cool.
Hey, Cody,
What up, Gus?
What?
I got a weird issue with my truck. Every time I plug in the 7-way for the trailer, it doesn't want to recognize that it's plugged in. Well, I'm thinking maybe there's a short in the trailer wiring because I plug it in and it just immediately says trailer disconnected. And I'm like, well, okay. Well, I drive for a little while with the trailer connected. And all of a sudden, after maybe 15
Do what?
We lost connection.
All of us?
Hello? Can you hear me?
DS lost connection.
His computer fell asleep.
Before he did? Whoa.
Did I make a mistake buying the SNS disaster prevention kit instead of the DCR? Well, SNS got two options for you. If you don't have a really skidoo. If you don't want to do the pump, you have the choice to do the disaster prevention kit. But the ultimate fix to cure all that is to obviously get the CP4 out and put the DCR in, which you would need a disaster prevention kit. So you got a couple options. Happy horsepower. No, not happy horsepower. Skidoo. What did you do? Tell me now.
Hey, they're asking about the VREF. Remember the DEF heater harness?
Where?
17 to 19 trucks.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've had a 2012 do it. Same thing. It was actually chafed against the frame rail.
I have one place to go look for the Super Duty VREF SSM. When you have VREF codes, that's where you go.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what happens? You fix it. Cliffy Whiffy's back.
What would cause a double start almost on a 2016 startup? A double start? I don't know. I don't know what that is. They wouldn't, these don't allow the starter to come back out. No little puppy. No little puppy shaking the tail. Yeah, you're good. Yeah. Lay back down in your little cover. Go lay back down. Now she hurt her little paw. Hey, little puppy. No experience with the CPX pumps. It's still a CP4, so no.
So no.
It was my front harness connector on my trailer. Between the 7-way harness and the main harness, I cleaned the male and female. Son of a bean. So it was the trailer.
So
Good.
on mine, I was checking to see if that circuit had any issues on the trailer side, and it doesn't seem to have any problems on the brake circuit, which is a circuit that the truck uses to detect whether a trailer is connected or not. Unless I'm mistaken, is it the brake circuit or is it the 12-volt circuit? I think it's the brake circuit. And no, the brake circuit's fine on the trailer. So for some reason, you hook it up. It says no trailer. It immediately says trailer disconnected as soon as you plug it in. There's no trailer brakes. Then after about 15 minutes of driving, the trailer brakes just start working out of nowhere. Then they're fine for the rest of the trip.
I have no idea.
It did pop a warning up about something with the TCU, or not the TCU, but the trailer control module. It was like telling me something about that. Then it hasn't done that since. But
I would say just go make sure all your modules are updated, because that's Ford's favorite thing to do first. Make sure all the modules are updated.
yeah, it needs to get updated probably.
We just did some module updates today with FDRS.
You know, it's funny. I was in a meeting today and they said they're getting rid of VCM2 because it's too slow.
For real? No kidding.
VCM2 on an
Wow.
APIM, and an IPC took over 4 hours and crashed FDRS. They put it on a VCM3 on the same vehicle with the same update, and it did it in 45 minutes.
What? Oh, wireless or plugged in?
Wireless.
Dude, I need a VCM3.
Work out about 1,500 bones.
Come on.
That's what I paid for mine. And that was at a discount.
Bro, you can get them on eBay for like $350.
That you got to put your own stickers on.
I mean, you got to put your own stickers on. It's just labor costs and all, but it's just as
Then you
good.
gotta buy 5 of them.
Yeah, get a good one. Yeah, VCM2s are going out the door.
Damn.
They think that's the major contributor to programming failures.
Good. I hope it won't start for me the next day. Perfect.
I'm still thinking about breaking my TCU.
Let's do it. Let's unplug your TC. Let's just unplug it.
Yeah, let's unplug it and see what happens.
Who wants to see a video of us tampering with DS's TCU?
What if it's illegal?
That's
Why?
all the more reason to do it.
I
What
rather
if we
see
don't-
tamper with
what
something
if I-
else, but
What if I signed something somewhere, like when I got the truck, and it was like,
we'll just
it
make you.
was like, by the way,
Is-
before you take this truck, you got to make sure we can track it.
Is anybody listening to the feds right now?
You can just tell them that you signed that under duress.
You're here, Cliff.
Yeah.
Because
Lifts
I
the
mean, think
Fed.
about like Google, like when you use Google and like YouTube and stuff, who knows what's in those contracts? They're just long. I mean, we're all content creators. Who read the whole freaking YouTube agreement?
I mean, I mean,
How long until you got to make an agreement when you get your truck to make sure you don't?
I think you should stop pussyfooting around and we should just do it.
I mean, if it don't work, then I can just plug
Because
it back
just
in.
think how many people want to know where this TCU is on their truck. I mean, they know where it
Well,
is, but like,
well, how many people
oh
just
my
want to?
God, what does this do?
If you could unplug it and everything still works except
It
for
won't.
the tracking.
Like your Ford Pass is not going to work.
Yeah, no, I mean
Your
like your Ford Pass doesn't work. The vehicle still drives,
Yeah.
but you
Did you remember?
can't.
Did your navigation still work?
Everything worked
Okay,
except for
okay.
Ford Pass.
All right,
So
all,
from
Remember
my
all
the
point
right,
of
all
view,
TC
right.
remember the
from my
TCU is part of Tron now.
The
what's
bad
Tron?
face emojis.
What is Tron?
Trusted,
Real
uh,
time something network.
only net real time only network.
I
Trusted
wonder if
real
it.
time operation network.
So I wonder if it shuts down the whole truck.
No, it will. Tron is very tricky.
It sounds scary. It sounds kind of sinister.
It's un-American to not be on a watch list.
Yeah.
So what is
So
Tron?
Americans are the watch list.
What is this Tron thing? It sounds like what's it doing?
Do I've got it pulled up. I just need sharing.
That is mad.
That's a video in itself. When you get a new truck, after what year are you getting Tron? And
23.
what is the implications?
For the guy
Here's
that
the
wants
implications.
FDRS, I would get forescan before you get FDRS, bro. Way better. Unless you need a program like dealer level stuff, then yeah, get a FDRS, but you'll have to buy the license and shit for all that. So you don't want
So
that.
when you say in 2023 it's now part of Tron, was Tron available at all before 2023?
No.
No.
So this is so the entire Tron is new.
Mhm.
Yes.
All right, Cody, lay it on us.
There it is. I mean,
I mean,
I
we
don't
don't know what if. Oh, is it right out? Right out?
Basically, what happens is because we have this overlaid network on these new trucks, every time the scan tool goes in and out of a module, think of a module as a room in a building, and we have to use a security card to get into that building, and we have to use a security card anytime that we rearrange the furniture programming in that room. We didn't have to do that before. And when we do these security changes, all of those, hey, I blipped in at this time and I did this at this time, all have to go to the mothership. So it's
Okay.
very precise with these keys
the keys are
that
also stored in the TCU.
So with when you say programming, are you talking only engine and transmission, or are you talking forescan, everything?
I'm talking about like programming. uh I don't think going and monitoring data logger would matter because we can do that with forescan. But if you're going to program on the network in these trucks, you have to be able to access Tron. And if you can't access Tron, you're not going to be able to program.
So we're talking performance programming. If you're doing it that way, unlike banks where they can do like pedal monster, where it
Well, that's
doesn't,
something different.
that's something different. But like if you're gonna use something else that programs like power figures somehow, would that go in Tron?
Hmm.
Like a tuner.
Well, apparently they found a way around it, but there's only like 3 people in the country that knows that. And they're all
Well,
under
more than
NDA.
that knows how to do that.
that knows how to do that. Because there's obviously tunes for them because they've just released video of it. But the
That's what I
TCU
found
also,
out, that if you rev the engine, the brake lights go on.
Really?
Mhm.
when you let off the gas, the brake lights turn on.
When you let off the gas,
Like if you rev it up, go what? You let off the gas, brake lights will come on.
what?
Super weird, isn't it?
That is weird.
A guy
When
said,
you decelerate the truck, say you're driving it and you're just letting off the gas going down the road. I wonder.
exactly. They
Hmm.
want people to be alerted behind you that you're no longer on the throttle.
How, I mean, so I guess, so when it comes to the communication, would all that communication go through the TCU? Like the actual connection to the mothership, would that be through the TCU?
The TCU connects to the mothership, yes.
So for my case, it'd be trial and error. If that TCU stopped connecting to the mothership, or let's say whatever the TCU connects to, because does it physically connect to the mothership, or does it have to go through some kind of antenna? Like that's on the top of the truck or something, or one of those shark fin type of things.
Well, the TCU is like a cell phone, so yes, it's gonna have to go through an antenna. It's usually
So
on
I
top of the
wonder,
truck.
so you either unplug the TCU or you unplug the antenna.
If you unplug the
And
TCU, you can't really do that because all the distribution keys are in the TCU.
so
Tron.
the truck's bricked totally.
What if you depinned the communication wires to the Tron, but the Tron was still powered up?
Does it just shut it down? Like that would be kind of scary if
Why
they
don't we
figured
just
out
make a
how to,
switch?
if they, yeah, switch. That'd be real cool. You hit a button, kind of like the kill switch for your dang tracking. You hit a button and you can't get tracked. But it'd be kind of weird if they figured out how to make it so that the vehicle can't turn off its tracking, even if you figured out how to get around it, like how to just turn off this one pin or unplug the antenna. If whenever you did that, the whole vehicle just didn't function. I mean, what if the vehicle just don't have cell signal? It's still going to function. So what if the vehicle just thinks it doesn't have cell signal all the time?
You know, it's funny you say that, um, because that's actually a real possibility and kind of off topic. But every vehicle that runs a cell signal is going to have its own IP address, right?
Right.
Well, the current amount of IP addresses in use and in existence exceeds the amount of possible IP addresses due to the number of digits in the IP address system, which is why
Really?
when 5G phones came out, our internet got really, really crappy and slow and stopped working because we don't have enough IP addresses to run every single device that's trying to connect to the interwebs. So basically, there's not enough infrastructure in existence to monitor all of these vehicles.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's actually a real thing. We have IP6, it does exist as a technology, but it's not being used or rolled out. So we're just stuck with IP4 right now, which is
So every
why.
single
So
time, so like think about how many times every time they create another cellular device, it could be
yeah,
a tracker of any sort.
that's one more address they have to squeeze in. It's kind of like the system is bottlenecked, and I can't get online with my refrigerator until somebody over there hangs up their cell phone, or until that toaster turns off, or the guy over there turns off his laptop. All the IP addresses are just jammed into a bottleneck, and they're all waiting in queue before they get their turn to go onto the network.
Which is also why cell phones go out of date so fast. They're always bringing out new models.
Yep.
But the truck obviously is going to function without a cell signal. Like if you drive into an area that just doesn't have a cell signal and the truck can't communicate, well, it's not going to do nothing. It's just waiting until it can communicate again, until the signal's found again. Or if that's even how it, I mean, I'd imagine it uses a cell signal, some kind of cellular signal to relay this information to Ford or to wherever they're sending it.
Wait, say that
May-
again?
I would imagine that they're using some kind of cellular signal to send the information to Ford, even though you don't turn on the modem because it's got a modem in it and all this cellular
Oh
stuff.
yeah, it's probably got its own. I mean, just like OnStar has its own ability to communicate and Forward Pass communicates, it runs over the cell network. Yeah.
So it's reasonable to say that if you, for some reason, just didn't get signal, the vehicle's still going to function. It just won't communicate. So if you can interfere with the vehicle's signal part of it, you interfere with the vehicle's ability to communicate or receive a signal, then you've essentially made it so that the Tron network cannot see where you are or what happens with your vehicle because they're monitoring like for warranty purposes. I mean, think about how complicated these vehicles have gotten. They know every seat. When you put your butt in that seat, they want to know if your butt's in that seat and if you're wearing that seatbelt.
Well,
Now,
yeah.
obviously, you want to wear your seatbelt, but
You do?
what if you don't? What if you don't wear it?
A
Should
lot of people
you?
don't.
What happens if?
You just plug the little clip into it so it thinks you're wearing it.
Yeah, like one of
Go ahead,
these
get
right here.
started.
Yeah, you just plug that thing in there and
Okay.
you're
So
good.
you can find these on the internet and you can just plug them into your seatbelt.
Well, I'm
So it's
saying,
got
what
a
if
little
you
tiny.
get into like a car accident
Look
and
what it
all of a
says.
sudden, like there's, I
That's
mean, think
funny.
about, look at what just happened to Ford with the excursions were rolling over or flipping over, and they were like, dude, that's $1 billion.
That was 20 years ago, man.
No, it was like a couple years ago. A couple years ago, they were taking these 20-year-old excursions, and they were like, you got to pay $20 billion for 20-year-old
20
vehicles.
milli.
Now it's like we want to know every single thing you did inside of that vehicle. Let's say something happens, an accident, whatever. They got data on every single thing that you did, like what seat you were sitting in, what seatbelt you were wearing, and then all this other technology that's like the Blue Cruise, and it can see your eyes and it can see your hands and all that. Who knows how much of that's going through the Tron network or if it's being relayed back.
Well, man.
Then you got
You
your
know, a lot
maintenance.
of this is options. Like if you just get basic vehicles
You just
and not get a platinum,
Well, even on my trucks, kind of basic, kind of.
Tron is across the board though. It's a security protocol for hampering.
There's a
Uh,
there's a level of technology in my truck that you think like, oh, this is here to help you. You lock up your truck and then you open up the door without your key, or you like set off some kind of motion detector, and it freaking applies the brakes. The emergency brake locks up electronic, locks it up, does
well,
all this stuff for you.
the thing is, here's the end game is all that's happening with all these devices on these vehicles that we have. That is simply just paving the way for fully automated vehicles. We are actually testing in the field, in the real world, the technology and the devices that are used to implement self-driving cars. And the longer that they can show that, hey, these forward-facing cameras and this radar system and this communication network has proven to be reliable over X amount of thousands of hours, over 1.5 million platforms, they go, okay, now we can take all this technology, fuse it together, and now we can build F-350s that you don't even have to drive. So those things will just go out and plow the roads all on their own, and they don't need somebody inside of them to drive them around. You're just a guinea pig for the technology, sir.
Certainly.
That's the end game. And if you don't like it, don't buy a 2023 or newer.
I got a 1983 that doesn't have any power or anything except for when I stick the key in the ignition.
But it's just interesting that like you open up the door, it can apply the brakes for you and all this stuff.
Mhm.
But dang, can that network, can that Tron network or somebody, they can apply that brake.
Mhm.
They could turn that steering wheel, or they could do, they can access, who knows what they can access.
It's already been done on older cars with OBD too. They can go
Yeah.
in there control. They can go over there and control whatever they want. It's already been done. Hell, that was back in 2008, 2009.
Uh-huh.
Now,
They did
if
to like a Honda minivan.
so, I'm kind of curious. So that TCU, does it have, if you can just interfere with the cellular part of it, and it just is like, hey, we can't find a signal today. How long until it probably never would. It's not going to be smart enough to know that we haven't had a signal in 6 months.
Hope it wasn't in the middle of an over-the-air update.
There ain't going to be no more over-the-air updates once you
Oh,
unhook it.
I think we should talk more about this in the after party. Disable your DC. Hey,
It's getting late.
it's getting late. Follow us and listen, because Friday we have an add-on to your Super Duty, and most likely we're going to start talking food because some of us are kind of hungry. And yes, Uncle Sam wants to know everything. Jerome, that is a true statement. I appreciate you guys. We'll see you Friday. Later.